The all-new worldwide entertainment TV website is finally here.
Our new website is finally here.
Yo, what up, man? We taking over worldwide entertainment TV. It's your boy DT.
WWETV, worldwide entertainment on your TV screen. WWETV, worldwide entertainment on your TV screen. Toronto, New York, London, ATL, worldwide entertainment on your TV screen. Toronto, New York, London, ATL, worldwide entertainment on your TV screen. We bring interviews exclusive, urban news coverage. We keep our ears to the streets. Everybody love it, like Thanksgiving in the kitchen. We bringing all the fixins, the hottest host where the culture lives. We got them divas and them vixens, honoring the trailblazers. That's our legacy. Shout out to Tupac Center, repping hip hop royalty. Music videos, we got them all. It's all about the show. We making superstars today. They'll be bigger tomorrow. WWETV, worldwide entertainment on your TV screen. WWETV, worldwide entertainment on your TV screen. Toronto, New York, London, ATL, worldwide entertainment on your TV screen. Toronto, New York, London, ATL, worldwide entertainment on your TV screen.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl Chantel, and you already know we bigging up worldwide entertainment TV. And
yes, check it out, man. This is your boy Akon, and right now you got it locked to worldwide entertainment TV. Keep it locked.
Yeah, so DT, what do you feel about the female artists in Toronto, and how do you feel, because you have worked with many artists, you have helped to develop many, you have helped to, bring a lot to the forefront. What advice do you have for female artists, upcoming female artists that want to get the type of recognition that Drake and like Tory Lanez get?
First off, build a great team of people around you. Second off, stop killing your own opportunities. I've found that a lot of the females in the city, what happens is and this is the one place I'll say the cattiness, where it's like, oh, I don't want to be on that show because this person's organizing it. I don't want to be at this event because this person's performing on it. Listen, you could have my worst enemy. If I'm being paid to be on a show, you'll see me there. Now, after the show, I might punch them in the face, but you'll see me during the show, and I'll be professional.
We doing good around here. We gon' celebrate 'cause it's our year. Who doing good? We doing good around here. Better than it was last year. We doing good. We doing good around here. We gon' celebrate 'cause it's our year. I like this in the shout out. To those that tryna never make it. I'm doing real good now. So I can't forget about the ones that tryna hold me back. How you like me now?
Oh, it's happened before. But it's one of those things where you always have to put yourself in the best opportunity to get to the next level. And the reason a lot of Toronto artists are not getting blessed the way that they want to be is they're blocking their own blessings and everyone else's, right? Sometimes there's a blessing that comes for you, and then later on down the road, you're supposed to now take that blessing and say, hey, DT, I got this for you. So when you put me on the opportunity, I reach back and I say, hey, CoCo Leah, here's an opportunity for you. And then because I blessed her, later on she comes back to you and says, hey, here's this. But because you felt a way about me because I didn't compliment your outfit one day, so you don't want to work with me anymore, then, all of a sudden you're blocking it. As Toronto artists, we got to get to that place where we're really holding each other up. Like in Atlanta, you'll see artists that don't like each other, but they all rock together. And the reason is they're like, yo, this guy might bust, so we all going together. Yes, yeah. Right? In Toronto, it's like, I don't care, I'm the only talented one and whatever. No, actually you're not. Toronto is full of talented people. Talent is not our problem. Artist development, infrastructure, and opportunities are our problem, as well as not being able to work together.
Facts. I too agree with that. And it's more of a who you have in your surroundings, right? Because a lot of people, you think they're there for you and they want good for you, but deep down inside they don't. So you kind of have to learn from your mistakes. Sometimes you'll build a team and think that that's the team you got to work with, and sometimes you got to take out and add. You got to subtract and add. There's no, like, a lot of people in Toronto I find like try to take things personally and try to look at it like
that's a huge problem.
Yeah, and try to look at it as disrespect. It's not a form of disrespect. It's just that you may not be fit for that specific thing that you want to do. You want to be a photographer, but hey, I think that you're better as a stylist because I see the way you put yourself together. So maybe you're better at that. But people we're crawling on floors. Yay! I'm getting distracted. So I heard, I'm so sad that I missed it, but I heard that you were at T.Fest and you performed at T.Fest, right? So that's like a major deal. And so the whole show. Oh yes, and I forgot that the host
and can I say,
of the most.
And can I say he also got me to interview last minute for Music View. That was dope.
See, let's clarify that. She didn't interview last minute. She was offered the opportunity to become the host for Music View for what, like 15 interviews?
Damn right.
There we go. It's all about winning.
Even more than
Celebrate the wins, man.
Damn right.
I'm
thankful.
All I do is win.
Hey.
Okay, listen to me. Listen to me. I wasn't present, but I know if I was present, that would have been a different story. We would have had to share. But being that you went and this year you didn't perform, say for instance next year, would you, if they asked you to perform, would you? And how do you feel? Like what type of energy would you bring to T.Fest?
If they did ask me to perform next year, I would. I wanted to perform this year, but you know what? Blessing in disguise. Everything happens for a reason. So this year the reason was because I was actually supposed to do interviews. That's the way I look at it. So if they did ask me for next year, I would. And in terms of what I'd bring, like, buddy, I'd be all over that stage. The stairs, can't jump over that fence like this one over here, but I'd involve the entire crowd because that's what I do. I like to bring energy. I like to kind of like, you know how people say think outside of the box? Like, I like to just be outside of the box. So, like, I like to involve the crowd. I like to see how they're feeling and feed off of that. I'll just be all over the place. Just bring a lot of hype energy and inspiration because if you listen to my music, that's what it's all about.
Yes, honey, I like that. Women empowerment. I love it. And a lot of artists fail to understand it's about stage presence. If you don't have stage presence, if you can't interact with the crowd, if you're only gonna stand there and rap or sing, then just go home and don't even, because you have to interact with the people who are buying your albums, who are buying those iTunes, are doing those things. And if you can't interact with them, what is the purpose of you being an artist? So Mr. Big Shot over here, traveling all over the world, before we get into that, let us know a little bit about your performance and what kind of, I know you always bring the energy, jumping over fences, I see.
That's exactly I do it. I'm taking away. I'm looking for a culture in your mind. I'm wasting time. I stay on my mind. That's on my mind. Like, let's switch that. Cause the money comes first. No more favors, you better pay for the purchase. We ain't calling you off. We got some dirt right there. Brushing it off the show. Who's doing good? Who's doing good around here? Better than the ones last year? We doing good. We doing good around here. We gon' celebrate a 10-time year. Who's doing good? Who's doing good around here? Better than the ones last year? We doing good. We doing good around here. We gon' celebrate a 10-time year. Yeah, man.
What was the most memorable moment for you at T.Fest?
I can't pinpoint one because there were so many things. Like, basically everyone in this room was at T.Fest as part of my team in that sense. So, like, you know, you guys probably see Chris in the background setting up. He was on stage filming. He actually just sent me the footage, and it looks ridiculous, right? Keisha was there on stage. CoCo was there. It's funny, like, she wasn't able to perform, but she still came out to support. For me, when I see something like that, that's the kind of person I want to work with. Because most artists are like, oh, I'm not performing, I'm not going to come. Okay, well, see what happens next time, because I won't give you the opportunity. But on top of that, the performance was amazing, because I had one of the young guys that I work with, Bri Young. He was my hype man. So he knew my songs because when I was on tour in Europe, he was on the tour. So we did that a few times, and then I was like, yo, you want to come be my hype man for Toronto Fest, or T.Fest? He's like, okay. So we didn't even have to rehearse together. I just did my rehearsals and whichever he came through, and we did our thing. The energy was wild. Like, I was throwing out T-shirts. I'm jumping across the stage. We were speaking in Polish for a little bit. Like, there's so much going on. I had announced it. Shema. Yeah, so I had announced to the crowd that, you know, I got signed in Poland and got most of the crowd to throw up the crown sign, which is this right here. You know, that's what's on my shirt. So it was great energy. Shout out to the organizers of T.Fest, Canadian Urban Music Conference, Eb Reinbergs, Michael Brown, Stephen, was it Killmonger, everybody. Sorry, that's an inside joke. There's one of the guys that I say he looks like Killmonger from Black Panther.
Nah, I'm your king.
Yeah, I'm crazy with the descriptions.
He does look like him though. He does.
I am done. I am done. Let's have a moment of silence for the disrespect. Please. Because you're too much over there. Chris, pick up yourself in the back. Yes. You know what I mean? You know, he's setting up. He's doing his thing. You know, we're going to hit the behind the scenes. But before we do that, please let us know about your brand. I walked in. I seen boxers, socks, toothbrush, all these things like wallet that says fuck you and pay me type shit. Like, this shit is crazy. Like, let everybody know a little bit about this brand, bro. Like, and where can I get like a no a brazier and panty?
I think they probably do. So if you're looking, the brand is called NWJ, Najwexi Joel. That's the label that I'm with in Poland. So they actually have a store called Merchtedes, which is MERCHTEDES.com. So if you go there, you'll find all the logos like this. Then there's the PLNY. So PLNY, or PLN stands for zlotys in Polish. That's their money. So that's their brand, PLNY Textilia. So if you look up PLNY, you can find beach towels, wallets, shirts, air fresheners. Like, they got everything.
Air fresheners?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Honestly, me and her sitting here, we're like, yo, did he just say titties? Because I thought you said titties. Oh, teddies. Teddies. Did she? Oh! What is going on? Everybody's snorting out here. Like, what's going on?
That's a good idea.
Teddies. That's my new thing. Look at my teddies. I like that.
Teddy would like that.
All right, so what's upcoming for you? Like, what can we expect? Where can we find your music? What's going on with you?
Okay, so I just released, well, about a month or two ago, I released What Dreams Are Made Of, my first single off my upcoming EP, early 2019. And then I just released Lay You Down with no feature. That's going to be a bonus track on the upcoming EP. So right now I'm actually in the studio doing different collabs, but pushing these releases so that come early 19, that album will be released. And then currently, and you can find everything on every digital platform, and I already have my first EP, Chapter 1, on there as well. So you'll find that. I have the What Dreams Are Made Of video on YouTube, and my Lay You Down and Sunrise video on YouTube as well. So.
This is for you and anyone else we can relate to. I lay you down, pretty baby. focus, courage up. This is a powerful thing we got here, yeah. Hold me down, I'll hold you down. You'll never find anyone quite just like me. Open book transparency, yeah. At the door we say hi, start drinking a little wine. Intellectually inclined, hormonal ratings on a high. The beats no longer inside, unleash spirit of the mind. You'll be happy with what you find. Be quiet, don't be too loud. There's no denying it, that you'll be coming right back to the queen. So sweet, giving me some of that heat. Time to grow, wanna be serious, you just let me know. No need to front like you ain't got feelings, like you don't care for me. Everybody sees all this acting, picking and choosing when to pick up the phone. All you need to do is talk to my heart and my soul. Moving on now, that's what we should do. Take on the world now, how we choose to do. Looking at your body, feeling on my body, caress my body. From the bed to the floor, take a shower, start over once more. How we do this, nobody compares. How we do this, nobody would dare.
So how did you find out? Like, were you, like, you don't have to obviously let us know the situation because clearly it was more than once. So how did you find out? Like, did somebody call you and say, yo, somebody that, or did you witness it for yourself? Like, did you attend an event where somebody was mimicking, or?
A little bit of everything. I mean, sometimes I'll get a phone call and be like, girl, did you just hear this song? And like, I'll listen to it and it's like, wow, that's like my stuff. Or, you know, particular situations, like just to really get real, like a studio that I went to, and there was a person, I don't even know how to explain the situation, but basically the booking agent, who also was one of the owners of the studio, pretty much paid for my masters. Like, she told them that she was my manager and paid for my masters, and for whatever reason they gave her my files and she held on to that. So when I went to go get my stuff back, it's like, it was like an NWA kind of TLC moment where it's just like it really went left field, because there are people who, it's not that they want your stuff, it's that they don't want you to get any further than where you are. So a lot of people are not just taking your stuff for the sake of having it, they just don't want you to get any further. So with this particular person, it was like, I just want to be able to have a portion of whatever it was that Alicia Cinnamon was doing, to say if I own her masters, you know, that's big as an artist. So it's me knowing it, because they kind of slipped up and somebody in the studio kind of was like, wait, you know, so-and-so paid for your stuff. And I was like, wait, how are they paying for my stuff when like my dealing is supposed to be with you guys? So most of the stuff that has ever been taken from me has came back to me. Like, people will do it. They're not, I don't know if they're not bright, or maybe I'm too smart. I don't know, but I always figure it out. You know, and there's a lot of people who, I think a lot of people do things for attention. So I think a lot of people do things like you know, they'll tag me in stolen ideas. Like, hey girl, you know, I just seen your hairstyle. Now I'm going to do the same hairstyle and tag you in a picture of it. So there's a lot of like people who I think do things really to get my attention and just to see how I'm going to react and to take me out of my zone. If you see this person's going this way, it's like, how do I distract them? So it's really just deciding what's worth fighting for. And in the moment, it's definitely frustrating. But when I look in the long haul, it's like, okay, they took my masters. I can go somewhere else and recreate it, because obviously you want to be able to have control. But it's the, you know, the principle of it. Like, you're taking something from me, like, you know, you want to body you for it, but it can, like, you know. So it's really like just that, you know, separating the professionalism and the non-professionalism. It's like, okay, let a lawyer deal with this, and whatever comes from it. Like, most people are not ready for a lawsuit. So really and truly, like, you know, they smarten up in the end.
That's, girl, the lawyer up. Everybody lawyer up. That's what you got to do. Drake does it. Exactly. Lawyer up. What are your thoughts on producers stifling artists? Since we're talking about producing and all of that, what are your thoughts on that?
I would think that's probably one of the biggest industries in the Toronto industry. Is like 90% of the producers are artists at heart. So they make beats that are really for themselves, but they either are not comfortable with performing, or they don't have the confidence to actually full out be artists. So then they'll, you know, give an artist a track and realize, like, wait, you know, I want to be the star. So I found, like, I've had a few projects like that where it's like, you know, the song's finished, complete, let's get it out there, and they're holding on to it, whether it's, you know, for like 2 years later they want to put it down, like, oh, I want to wait till you bust and then I'm going to put out this track. And it's like, or we could bust with this track right now instead of waiting 2 or 3 years. And then there's also some who will literally just jump on the same beat and recreate it and try to be the star in the song. So I mean, the biggest issue is just really, again, having people understanding their strengths, the avenues that they are in, and what they want to be. If you're a producer, you know, be a producer. If you're a producer artist, then state that. But a lot of people get inspired by other people, and that's where they end up just kind of like taking the artist's idea. So it's really having a producer, like, it's tricky, I would say, in Toronto, to having somebody that you actually trust, because there's no teams, for lack of a better word. So you have producers that are jumping to every single team, giving your sound over here to this person, to that person. So that's also another issue, where you think you have a solid project with this guy or this girl, and then they're jumping off with somebody else and giving exact same thing to someone else. So
you're crazy. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. What do you feel? Why do you feel you had to leave the city to get respect and then come back? That, you know what I mean, like, you had to leave the city to come to get your respect that you truly deserved, and then you came back, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know, now you guys want to give me respect after I was here grinding, doing my thing, no one knows me. Now I left, came back. How did you feel about that?
I think that's just like typical Toronto. We jump on anything after everybody else has already jumped on it. So for me, it's like I did a lot of underground stuff in the city and just built a foundation so that when I left, it's like you can still check back in my city and there's credentials. So when I released my EP, I said, I understand how the city of Toronto works. I'm going to release my EP in another country so that when I come back to Toronto, it's kind of like, well, now you guys are going to want it because somebody else already has it. That's just pretty much, unfortunately, like, it's been like this for like decades. I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. I now understand, though, like with my core fans who was riding with me before I left, like those are the ones, you know, I'll give perks to or definitely stay connected with, you know, the DJs that have been riding with me from before, give them some free dub plates, whatever the case may be, like just something to keep the core fans happy, but then also realizing who now is just jumping on that wave. I'm glad that they're recognizing the work, but it also makes me, you know, pay more attention to who's actually for Alicia Cinnamon and who's just for the wave.
Okay. So have you noticed that a lot of people that weren't jumping on your bandwagon are now jumping on your bandwagon now?
I would say there are people who knew about me, but I guess they were just, you know, there's artists that come out like every week. So I think a lot of people were just waiting to see like how long are you here to stay for. So I wouldn't say that they're jumping on it now. It's like now they're really realizing that this girl's serious. Like she left the country by herself, came back, like, and she's still doing her thing. So I think there's that. But then I noticed there are some people that were there before that are not there now. So it's more of that, where it's like the more you get to the top is the more people that you're going to lose. The bigger the fan base, the less team support, whichever which way, and more haters, so to speak. So there's definitely that as well too. But for me, it's like leaving, it was for myself. Like, I don't feel any different leaving or coming back. I did the exact same thing in Atlanta that I did here in Toronto. The hustle was the exact same. The performances were the same. So it just, for myself, it just goes to show, like, no matter where I am, I'll be okay.
That's real good, real good. What are your feelings on the male empowerment opposed to the female empowerment in the Toronto? I can't even, obviously the industry, we know that it's more male dominant than it is female. But in Toronto, what do you feel about that? The male empowerment opposed to the female empowerment?
I feel like it's a man's world, so it's always going to be like, we're always going to be like 10 steps behind the men. The unfortunate part is men play up a lot of women against each other. Most of the beef that women have is not really direct women on women beef. It's like a man saying you could be better than her, or you could do this, or women fighting over men, or whatever the case may be. So there's that, where we're already missing the unity amongst females, and then you have men playing us up against each other. But then there's also that the aspects of, like, you know, playing the game where if you don't give to get certain things. So there's definitely a lot of that power, where it's like, you know, if you're going into a studio or you're going into a show and promoters expect you to do something to get that show, or producers expect you to do something to get that beat or whatever, there's a lot of women who will give into that. But then when you meet women that aren't about that life, you can also get yourself in a sticky situation. So it's really a tricky situation. It's like, if you give in, you can be blackballed, and if you don't, you can be blackballed. So it's really just about being strong within yourself, because it is a very male dominated field. And if you are not, like, it's sad to say, but if you're not really protected by a man, like, it's a rough place to be in. And me being a female and just literally doing everything by myself, like, I'm going toe to toe with, like, you know, like some real, like, heavyweights sometimes, you know, doing meetings, booking myself shows and stuff, and, like, just really having to show them, like, I'm not here to, you know, sleep my way to the top or any of that stuff. Like, I want to be taken as seriously as every man that's inside of this room. So it's just really, as a woman, just making sure that you don't fall into that the easy path.
Yes, women, we don't need to sleep with men to get to the top. Like, I've seen a lot of very successful women make it without doing it. Like, we're bosses in general. Like, a man cannot run a household. It's a woman that runs the household. So it's like, regardless of the situation, I'm sorry, but it is what it is.